Hey everybody, welcome back to Mind Keys. So really quick here, I thought I would do another kind of series of these short clip videos. They were really well received last week. It seemed like you guys really liked them, resonated with the messages, and just generally they got better engagement and more interest, more clicks, more likes, more comments. So I'm thinking perhaps you guys need some more short form videos peppered in here along the way with the long form videos too. I'm going to continue doing those as well because they're important to me. First of all, I like doing long form content. I like watching long form content, but also there are just certain things that really I feel do need some nuance and some context and some depth around them to really properly convey the concepts and the messages. So I will continue making long form content. So if you are one of those people who might be in the minority of the audience here who likes the longer form content, if you're not, I'll continue making it because I do think it's valuable and important. But I want to continue to make these short form videos along the way too. So with that being said, let me get into today's topic. So for today, I wanted to talk about meta beliefs. So the word meta, for anyone who isn't familiar with what a meta belief would be, or a meta value, or a meta concept, or meta anything, the word meta, M-E-T-A, means about or above. So when you have a meta belief, it is a belief about your beliefs, or it could be a belief about who you are or about your state of being. So it's some sort of moving up to a higher level of observation about oneself. And when it comes to your own personal healing, your own healing path, your own, personal growth path, your own personal awakening path, one of the major kind of limiting factors or bottlenecks that you are going to experience, and I'm sure do experience all the time, whether you know it or not, is your own meta beliefs, your own beliefs about what is possible for yourself. So this came up, in conversation with a couple different clients. It came up in conversation with some of my teachers and some of my peers that I work with. And it's, I think, just such an important thing for you on a self-healing path to understand that your own beliefs about what's possible for your healing really shape your outcome. So there's a lot of things I want to say about this. I'm going to try to keep this short and to the point, though. So in my experience, it's very common on the healing path to encounter solutions to your problem. It's very common to, whether you're sifting through trying to learn about whatever issue it is you're trying to heal, whether that's anxiety or depression or PTSD or whatever, or you're interested in learning about different forms of therapy, or you're just asking questions and you're going about your life, and I guarantee you're encountering the answer somewhere. But we have something called the RAS, the reticular activation system. And this is really a topic for a whole nother video, but just really briefly here, it's kind of like a filter that decides what is inside our attention and what gets filtered outside of our attention, because we take in so much data literally every single second of our lives that our brain mostly has to filter out vastly, more information than what we take in. So what gets decided, what's inside that information, that's what's called your RAS. It's a filter, basically, of what's inside your attention as important. So I guarantee you there's all kinds of information that, because you don't believe it will help you or fix you or is important, or you don't see how it leads you to your outcome, you filter out. Unconsciously, unwittingly, unknowingly, you see, a link you could click on, you see a mention of something you don't understand and you don't research it, you hear somebody mention something and it's interesting and passing, but you don't really follow through on it. A lot of times, for example, I've encountered a lot of techniques along my journey here that ended up being things that later on I circled back around to and were profoundly important, powerful techniques that at the first time I encountered them, I filtered them out. I see this all the time with clients too. Every first session I have with clients, I teach you guys how to self-regulate. I teach you techniques that literally unwire the anxiety, rewire the depression, clear the trauma from your body. And I teach people these techniques, and so often they're just like, oh, no, that's cool. And they totally they've totally not absorbed at all the possibility and the power of the techniques that I'm showing them off the bat here, because they haven't applied them, they haven't tried them, or perhaps I haven't spent enough time really like elucidating, how they're to be used and exactly how powerful they are, what you can do with these techniques. They often just get filtered out and just kind of fall by the wayside with my clients. And then, sometimes we'll bring them back in later on a different session and they'll be like blown away that they didn't get it the first time around. And so, what is creating this effect of the RAS, your RAS filtering out certain things, is really your meta beliefs, your kind of beliefs about what's possible for yourself. Like, are you skeptical that you can even heal? Are you skeptical that it's possible to get over your CPTSD or get over your depression or get over your anxiety? Are you skeptical that the brain can rewire itself? Are you doubtful of some of the new techniques that you've never heard of because they're not like shouted out and commonly heard about? Then maybe they don't work. This is another common one because a lot of the techniques I do are kind of new, cutting edge, less known, because I'm always looking at like where's the juice, where's the stuff that really makes the difference, and what's simple and what's more effective and what's a more refined understanding. Really always looking at these core mechanics of how to get people from A to B, how to get myself from A to B too. And so I'll teach people stuff and they'll be doubtful because they haven't seen a list of articles and blog posts and YouTube videos. And even though I could point them to white papers and point them to the science and show them why it works, and that it's validated and that it's real and not just imagination, there's doubt, there's skepticism, which is okay. It's good. But if you're going to be a skeptic with your own healing path, then I would encourage you to be an open-minded skeptic over a closed-minded skeptic. Like skepticism is one of these concepts, one of these words that we often use as kind of a shield to hide behind, to kind of unconsciously defend ourselves from either looking like a gullible idiot or defending ourselves from getting, wasting time and getting sucked into doing something that isn't going to work. Or it's just a way of maintaining our self-image that we are rational, clear-headed adults, right? These are all kind of reasons why people tend to default to skepticism. The right use of skepticism is to be evaluative with everything, right? The right use of skepticism is to be open-minded, but also entertain the possibility of course correcting at any given moment with not only whatever it is we're taking in or exploring, but with our own thinking and our own beliefs and our own emoting, and this is one, again, looping back to psychedelics, this is one of those things that psychedelics teach us so well because they help us shift our state. We move into a different perception vantage point because we're feeling different. And because we're feeling different and we see ourselves and life differently, all of a sudden our problems occur to us in a new light, and the solutions that become available also occur to us in a new light. We start to consider things as possible that we had never considered before. And so this is a great teaching on how when we shifted our state, when we shift ourselves, what occurs to us as possible also changes. And so this is, I think, more a healthy use of skepticism, is this kind of open-minded, willing to throw out our own closed-mindedness, our own doubts, and be kind of skeptical of our own skepticism, so to speak, and also to be skeptical of the new things we're taking in and really try them on for size, really be DIY about it. And so I just want to put this out there to you as a thought and plant the seed for you that, as you're going about your self-healing journey, whether it's, with me or another therapy modality or a different coach or a hodgepodge of all kinds of different approaches, I want to encourage you to be an open-minded skeptic rather than a closed-minded skeptic. And I want to encourage you to really open, the filter a bit and allow yourself to be in a place where I don't really know what's going to work, and I'm willing to try things out, and I'm willing to entertain the possibility of things working that I wouldn't think could work or wouldn't know why it works. A great example in the therapy world of that now is what you see as CBT and mindfulness. So, I just did a video recently about meditation. It's a very important piece of the puzzle here. It's something I'll be talking about more, I'm sure. But both CBT and mindfulness come from Buddhist practices. They come from, what are essentially mystical practices and from a religious kind of, experience, religious point of view from the East, right? And, and people would find, that these people who are meditators, who were, practicing self-inquiry, which is really what CBT is based on, who were practicing, mindfulness meditation, had much more robust mental health. And so, but for the longest time, meditation was poo-pooed. It was dismissed as woo-woo and fake and not real, and inquiry was dismissed as just kind of mental masturbation. But now these are kind of the bedrocks of some of the most effective therapeutic techniques we have. So this just goes to show that just because you may not have a huge amount of data showing you that something's effective, even if I could point you to white papers and science and studies, it really still requires just an open-minded approach. And so I want to encourage you to really evaluate what are the doubts, what's the contraction, what are the resistances, what are the fears, what are the worries you have that are kind of keeping your perception kind of narrow and small, because these kind of, whether it's judgments about yourself or judgments about certain approaches or judgments about what's possible, these kinds of things radically filter your results, and it's kind of cheesy, it's kind of cliche at this point in personal development work, but in the words of Henry Ford, whether or not you believe you can or you can't, you're right. And so I think we'll just wrap this video, which was longer than intended, on that note, but I hope this serves you well, this message, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching. Take care.